Hi everyone, welcome to the Movie Section Show. My name is Fariba, and today I just want to say happy Barbenheimer week. Again, it's insane that we're finally coming down to its final days before the film's release. The last 3 months since the trailers for both the films came out, the phenomenon behind this whole battle has been incredible. The discussion about which movie's going to the box office, which movie people are going to watch first. This whole idea of the fact that we have two tentpole movies releasing on the same day is just, it blows my mind how we've gotten to this point in time, and yet it's become such a big discussion on the internet sphere. And of course, the only reason why this happened was because Warner Bros. Wanted to get revenge on, or allegedly wanted to get revenge on, Christopher Nolan for leaving them to go with Universal Pictures after what happened with, the underwhelming performance with Tenet. And, Warner Bros. Was like, we're just going to release Barbie on the same day as Oppenheimer just to ruin and sabotage Christopher Nolan for doing what he did. But honestly, I feel like considering the whole counter programming, considering the whole memes, the whole discussion, the whole phenomenon behind it, I think it's actually benefited both movies. I don't think either one has been sabotaged in any way, in any form whatsoever. Honestly, I think if there's anybody who was benefited the most out of this, I think it's Oppenheimer, because who would have I can't even imagine what it would have been like if Barbie was not released on the same day as Oppenheimer. It's there's so many things to kind of consider. But in either case, it does seem as if both Barbie and Oppenheimer are going to be performing very well this week at the box office. The projections have been out. I believe Barbie is looking to be about 110 million during its opening weekend, and I believe Oppenheimer is looking around 50 million. Again, both films are looking great in terms of success. We'll see how it all goes. Of course, there's that whole discussion about which one to go and watch first, because again, the whole discussion is that there's going to be this whole double feature. The fact is that a lot of theaters are doing a double feature between the two films. Is just incredible. Again, showing the strengths and numbers with the marketing that's been going into both these films as a result of this counter programming. And now here we are, this whole discussion. How are people going to be watching both films, right? Now, of course, it could go either way. It could be Oppenheimer, then Barbie, or Barbie and Oppenheimer. I believe people like Tom Cruise and Linda Carter have argued they're going to be watching Oppenheimer first and then Barbie second. And I think the arguments for either case make sense. I know there's one argument why Oppenheimer first and then Barbie second is the best order to go with, because of the fact that, Oppenheimer precludes, Barbie. It happens before Barbie, if you look at it timeline wise, as well as the fact that it's in a sense kind of the influence with the whole fake town and all that sort of stuff. I feel like that's a really good argument. For me, I'm watching Barbie first and Oppenheimer because of the whole runtime situation, because Barbie is 2 hours and Oppenheimer is almost 3 hours. And at least here, there's only 30 theaters across the United States that is showing Oppenheimer an IMAX 30 millimeter. And at least in Florida, there's only one that actually has that, and I happen to be not too far from that theater. So if that meant having to go see Oppenheimer in that format, which I do have tickets for, so thankfully enough, because at least here, all the tickets for 70mm is all sold out up until Monday. So it's really insane, the hype behind Oppenheimer. But yeah, having said that, right, it was definitely kind of this situation where I had to go in between different theaters, because I actually had to pay extra money just to go see Oppenheimer. This is one of the cases where I literally straight up was okay, I'm willing to pay money, solid separate cash, just to go see Oppenheimer at a different theater, because of how much I really want to get the full experience, especially because of everything I've been hearing about the actual sequence with the Trinity test. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. I cannot wait to see it in theaters. I've been hearing the reviews about it, so that's something that I cannot wait to see. But as a result of the fact that it is 3 hours, I'm going to be watching Barbie first, because at least I'll be a bit more relieved that, because I have to go between two different theaters, that at least if I watch Barbie first, which is actually shorter, which is a 2-hour film, or at least roughly around 2 hours, that I would not have to be too concerned about having to rush in between theaters. So that's me right there. I'm going to be watching Barbie first and Oppenheimer second. So I'll be having those reviews out later in the week as well. I'm super excited to see it. Now, in terms of which film I'm super excited to see or which one I'm more hyped about, it's definitely been something that has been interchanging quite a lot between the months. Now, of course, when the first trailers that came out for both films, I think the one that definitely had a much stronger first impression was definitely Barbie. I think because of how pink the world is, how whimsical it seemed, how quirky it was, as well as the fact that, just the whole atmosphere of the film was just something that really caught your attention right away. It's like, wow, Barbie seemed like the one I was just like, wow, like this one has me a bit more hyped a little bit just because of how unique it feels, as well as the fact that, this whole culture behind Barbie and now seeing it becoming part of this live action feel to it. Like, I don't know if we've actually ever had a live action Barbie movie before. So I think that again adds to kind of this whole hype behind the movie. So, and let alone, like, again, the trailer seems so much fun. I think just seeing Ryan Gosling playing Ken is just one massively like interesting thing. And I've been saying again after and over again, I've been saying this, even in my trailer reactions, I've been saying this, like, Ryan Gosling is made to play Ken. Like, he will literally, like, he will be the standout. Like, I know for a fact that he's going to nail this role just because, again, we know him as someone who is very known for his dramatic roles, but he is someone who also knows how to be very funny. Again, example I keep saying is The Nice Guys. Watch that film if you haven't. Again, I feel like that was definitely the film that really exemplified his, comedic timing, his ability to be humorous. And I think that's a really great example that would give an example of how I would imagine his performance is going to be as Ken and Barbie. And so far, just from the trailers already, like, again, all the naysayers who were like literally criticizing the hell out of Ryan Gosling, who thought that he was just not meant to play Ken or he was a miscast, they're going to be wrong. They will be proven wrong, and I cannot wait to see that. So that's definitely one thing I cannot wait to see. Now, as I was saying before, even though Barbie was the one that I initially was thinking was going to be the one that I think was going to impress me the most, in just the last few weeks, I will say that I'm actually far more hyped about Oppenheimer now going into the last final days of its, of this anticipated wait. Like, I think it's just because of a lot of the discussions about what's going on in the movie, the Trinity test, the fact that, when it comes to Nolan, he is trying to avoid as much of CGI as possible, making it seem very real and practical, and the whole execution of how they were trying to, showcase the Trinity test sequences, as well as the fact that a lot of things have come up in development. Of course, like one thing regarding like, a really unusual thing that we never really see Nolan movies before, and that is nudity and sex. As a result of this, I feel like I've actually been far more hyped about Oppenheimer going into this battle than ever before. And not just that, but the first reviews have come out, and the fact that there's a lot of praise behind this movie, it's just like, wow, it's definitely got me far more hyped for Oppenheimer than Barbie. Now, that doesn't take away the fact that I'm not excited for Barbie either. I'm excited for both movies regardless. So I cannot wait to see both the movies this week. Like, again, we're finally getting down to like the final days of its wait. And then after that, we're all finally going to be in theaters watching both films and, enjoying the different atmospheres of the film, whether it be the pinkish, the pink-filled world of the whimsical style of Barbie, or something that is really, truly dark and sinister and really kind of telling a very, ominous time of, America's history in World War II, with the Manhattan Project involved. Like, it's just amazing how we finally got up to this point in cinema. So I cannot wait to see both the films. Before I sign out, I do want to address a little bit about the situation that's going on in Hollywood regarding the labor strikes that have been going on for quite some time now. Now, I know I haven't been really addressing this personally in like any of my videos, just because like, I don't know, I just haven't had the right words to really kind of consider or how to really address the whole scenario. But now, as all of you may have known as of this point, that the actor strike, so the SAG-AFTRA organization, so the group that represents the actors and the actors and all that sort of stuff, the negotiating deadline with the motion picture had expired, even after they had extended their negotiating process for another 12 days, and unfortunately that had failed. And of course, since I believe July 13th, the actors, organization or actors union has now gone on strike. So they are now, and not just that, but again, this is a very monumental period because it's not just the actors strike that's happening, but in the last 3 months, at least I believe since May 3rd of this year, that we also had the writers strike that's been going on. So the WGA strike. And so now we're finally we're actually in a very critical period in Hollywood history where we're actually seeing double labor unions in Hollywood going on strike as a result of negotiations not being met between the respective unions, and that with the Motion Picture Association. And I mean, this is a very critical point. I mean, one of the reasons why I want to talk about this, because I think that it's worth mentioning that for someone like me who loves talking about movies, who loves talking about television shows, and the fact that I even, make these videos on my channel, like, I would not be doing any of this if it wasn't for just the movies that we do get, because of the television that we do get. And all of this is made by the actors, made by the writers. These are the creative minds who create these projects, create these content for us to watch, regardless of, whether they're good or bad. That doesn't even matter. We get these material because of their hard work. And if it wasn't for them, I would not be the person I am today. Like, honestly, it's because of these movies that I really truly understood the passion, the beauty of what cinema is. And just to see what's going on, I mean, the whole stories I've been hearing so far, the testimonies I've been hearing from the actors and the writers, and the unfair compensations and everything like that. Again, it's just like, it truly just awes me that this is something that's been going on, and what they are doing right now with this strike is for a good cause. I mean, it's not just with Hollywood. This could be a very big impact what's going on just across different unions in general, different professions. But just sticking with this, right? I think all I want to say is that with everything I've been hearing so far, especially in terms of the things like the residuals, the compensations, the discussion about AI, which has been a very heated discussion in the last couple of months, in not just, Hollywood, but just in different sectors of, the working class. Like, I mean, again, I cannot say this enough, but I do want to express that I am in solidarity with both the actors and the writers' strike. I think what they're doing is for a very great cause. I hope at some point there's going to be resolution to all of this. But yeah, I have to say, again, what's been going on is just, I mean, it blows my mind. And I mean, just again, some of the, not just the accounts I've been hearing, but some of the comments have definitely really kind of angered me in some ways. Which when I'm saying that, I'm talking about some specific people in one side of the room. Like, apparently there was that Deadline article about how the studios are just waiting out for, both, at least at that time it was a writer's strike, for them to bleed out all their money to the point where they would lose their homes and they would have to force themselves to agree to any it's like, that really angered me a lot. And then not even 24 hours before the actor strike had initiated, that, Bob Iger had to talk about how, the deals are apparently apparently unrealistic. And that's coming from someone who makes millions of dollars off of his job as CEO, who probably doesn't know much about what is actually the inner pinnings of what's going on in making movies, let alone the fact that he actually said this. What was at the Sun Valley retreat, of all places, right? Yeah, I mean, again, I cannot even say this enough. Again, what is going on right now, just the attitude, the behavior that I've been seeing so far, the testimonies I've been hearing from people who have worked in the writing and the acting sector. I mean, again, I want to express that I'm in deep solidarity with the actors and the writers and their strike. I hope that, again, they do get to resolution to this. And I mean, if this is something that's going to take months to go, let it go for months. I wholeheartedly support them. They're doing it for a great cause. And I hope that, again, at the end of the day, there is something that does get resolved. As well as the fact that, having said all of that, I will be leaving a couple links down below, whether it be, things like learning more about what they're trying to do, getting some facts about them, as well as any donation links. So yeah, that's something I really wanted to quickly mention, because again, that has been a pretty big topic going on recently. And I just could not go and continue the silence about what's been going on in Hollywood it. I think, again, it just wouldn't make sense in my own consciousness just to continue the silence. So that's all really to say about this whole video. I mean, there's a lot of things I definitely had to address, but in general, let me know what your thoughts are about kind of this whole Barbenheimer week that's been going on. What are you going to be doing? Are you doing a double feature like everyone else is doing? And if so, which movie are you watching first? Which one you hope to win? And I mean, if you don't feel like there's really a winner, that's totally fine too. Which one do you think is going to go on top? Which one do you feel like you're most excited to see in between Barbie and Oppenheimer? And yeah, let me know if you have any other thoughts or comments below. And make sure to like and subscribe.